Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our F123 Driver Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to the Hungarian Grand Prix. We have a lot of upgrades on the way, as you can see here now, as we as well are seeing the difference in the R&D chart. Haas up to 4th, but we have a big weekend and developments were happening quickly, not just in R&D. News was coming out that Fernando Alonso had been involved in an incident, and it would be confirmed.
Breaking news, Fernando Alonso will miss this weekend's Grand Prix after a biking incident. The details are unknown as we head into the weekend.
Well, just as quick as it became a rumor, it would be confirmed. Alonso is out in Hungary after a biking incident resulting in injury. You might be wondering, Gary, why are you doing this? Check my pinned comment on the video for context of exactly why this is happening. And after you read the pinned comment, I can tell you right now, I have a mod that will fix what we're dealing with, and Alonso should be back in the next episode. So Aston Martin had to actually call up on the spot Formula 2 driver Dennis Hauger into the car for this weekend. I hope I said his last name correctly, but yeah, Dennis Hauger is going to be in the car for this weekend here for Aston Martin alongside myself. We had a huge R&D change this weekend, which I want to bring out right now. Ferrari has, look at this on the graph, has made a massive gain. They are at the top of the board coming into this weekend. Haas is down to 4th still, actually Red Bull down to 5th. Williams there right behind, as you can see our end of practice times as Dennis Hauger ends up P17. This is obviously a big opportunity for Dennis to impress an F1 ride for next season and give himself an opportunity. We'll have to wait and see what he can do here. Unfortunately, it's going to be a tricky qualifying for him. It's going to be barreling down rain here, which is an opportunity for myself. It's going to be a dry Grand Prix. It's supposed to be nice and sunny, but this is a huge opportunity for us. We have gotten 2 poles in our F1 career. They've both come this season, of course, and they have both been in these conditions, of course, in China as well as Monaco. If you guys remember Monaco, well, that took us to a race victory for the first time in our career. Still seeking that second win. We were top of the board in Q1. Unfortunately, Hauger was a Q1 exit, so P17 is where he will start the Hungarian Grand Prix for his debut. Not where you want to see him. Q2, similar situation, really quick. In these wet conditions, we're going to cross the stripe and cruise into Q3. No contest. Actually, Hamilton does beat me there, and we were actually 3rd. Sainz there 2nd. But some more surprises. Leclerc, De Vries, first of all, makes it again to Q3 for the 2nd episode in a row, but Leclerc is out after having the best car in the R&D now with Ferrari, and Perez is out as well as he continues to struggle in Q2 just like real life. So we jump through into Q3. We continue to see a lot of diversity in between the teams that are making it into Q3. Albon continues to impress. We know Alonso, of course, is retiring at the end of the season, even without the injury, so it'll be interesting to see how this injury will affect him by losing a full race of points as well in his quest to win that 3rd world title. Here we are, though, into this final sector, setting a really quick lap, and pole was looking pretty likely at this point through the final corner here. Everybody was bunched up together on their laps, so it makes it easier for myself. We're going to come through to cross the line, and sure enough, 3rd pole of our F1 career.
Yes, excellent lap. We're all very pleased with that one. Nice work. Come on, I'll see you back in the pits.
Fired up mark is a good mark now. Pole position by nearly 0.3 of a second over Hamilton, Russell. Piastri there at the bottom of the top 10. De Vries beats him in P9. As we get ready to go to the grid on Sunday, let's get ready to race.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of Formula One action. Historically, a good race for first-time victories, with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the very first time right here. We're northeast of Budapest for today's race at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Sainz, Gasly, Verstappen, Norris, Albon, De Vries, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Leclerc, Ocon, Perez, Stroll, Joe, Hauger, Sonoda, Magnussen and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Here we are then, ready to go racing, of course. Unfortunately, fresh off the news of Alonso, of course, missing this Grand Prix due to injury. Like I said, check the pinned comment for context on why this storyline has developed. Strategy is simple for this episode here. Everybody on the soft tire, including our teammate of Dennis Alger. So very straightforward. We're going to get ready to roll.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions can affect the lifespan of the tyres. As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
All right, boys, let's have a good one today, of course. Let's stay professional, we hope. Fernando, of course, has a quick recovery, and we see him back in the car and Spa.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. We're thinking of you, Fernando.
Like I said earlier, Fernando is expected to be back in the car next episode for Spa before we head into the summer break, of course, as we are all up here on the grid lining up and, well, ready to go. Russell, Hamilton right there behind us. We're going to have to be very aware of the 2 Mercedes. We don't have an Aston Martin teammate to back us up here today, so Sainz, Gasly 4th and 5th. It's 5 red lights here in Hungary. Lights out, pretty quick release, and we have a great launch off the grid here already. Multiple car lengths ahead here, as Russell is going to slip through into second. Hamilton with a bit of a bog down. We're going to cover off Russell into turn 1 sweep to the right side of the track. Hamilton is firing it back up the inside of Pierre Gasly. What a move there, as Hamilton, of course, came up short of the pole position here in Hungary, just by about 0.3 of a second to myself, and it's made a difference. Down to 4th place he goes, as Gasly was able to hang on in the Alpine. Keep in mind, Hamilton fresh off that victory in his home Grand Prix in the last episode there in Silverstone, and we finally beat our teammate Fernando Alonso again in that one, but Mercedes really brought the fight there. They brought the pace. We didn't quite have enough to fight against them, but it seems like this weekend, based off qualifying, although it was wet, we might have a little bit of something here for this Mercedes team. Hungary, very, very difficult to pass. It's almost like Monaco. It's very difficult to pass here, unless you have, you know, an extraordinary car, or you have a very different strategy where you have a very, very large tire advantage here. Now, everybody's starting on soft, so it's going to be pretty complicated. Russell making a move up the inside for the overtake on the lead, but we're able to hold him off, so we stay in P1 here at the end of this first of 35 laps in Hungary. So 1-stop race. We will not be using the hards today. We're going to be doing softs to medium, so pretty straightforward as we continue on down this front stretch. So leading the first and opening lap of this Grand Prix, and we would just try to be in command, of course, breaking that slipstream wherever I can. We would open up about a 0.9 of a second gap. As yellow flag behind us, a spin from the Sauber. That's Zhou Guan Yu, actually, who's gone completely around in turn 1. He's, of course, had a rough season here, his 3rd season in Formula 1. It's not been pretty for him or just Sauber in general. However, today, Valtteri Bottas having a pretty good run, and I'm hearing news that we might get some news from Sauber soon in the decision that they have made on who to partner with for next season in this career mode. Of course, we got the news that AlphaTauri will be splitting from Red Bull. They'll now be their own team, and a rebrand is coming, and I'm hearing rumors that a brand called Connor Sport might be interested in purchasing the assets for the team there. Going a little bit wide towards the end of the lap, that would actually allow Russell to get within my DRS. So now you can see he's about 0.7 of a second behind on this 8th lap of the Grand Prix, coming to lap 9, staying about the same gap now. So I couldn't shake him out of the DRS, but we were able to at least hold him off and keep him at bay for now and not, you know, put ourselves vulnerable to an overtake here and dropping down to 2nd place. An update on our teammate here in his debut of Dennis Alger. He's going around the outside of Perez, who's not been able to move forward here. Like we said, you know, overtaking very difficult to do, but here's Dennis going for it on the inside now as they continue wheel to wheel through sector 1. Oh, he pinched Perez over to the right side of the track. Not a lot of room there, and they both make it work there through the corner, and up to 13th our teammate goes now as we continue on trying to break that slipstream there. You saw me going all the way over to the right side of the track, but what happened next was a bit of unexpected strategy. Hamilton into the pit lane at the end of lap 11 coming to lap 12. Our pit window's not till lap 15, so Hamilton's coming in, and this is why he's putting on another set of soft tires. So this is a two-stop strategy for Mercedes. A lap later, Russell hops onto the same strategy just behind myself. And as that's all happening, Carlos Sainz has a mechanical failure in the Ferrari, so in a weekend that Ferrari comes in, saying it's at the top of the R&D leaderboard, it's been pretty rough for them. So Ferrari, we have continued to pay attention to. They've been trying to climb their way back after a hot end to Season 1. It was not a pretty start to Season 2, but they've been trying to come back. Lap 15, we're now coming into the pit lane, so with this strategy, we're staying on the one stop. I have not changed my strategy considering what's happened with Mercedes doing the two-stop idea. I expect Hamilton to be ahead of us, but they have been stuck in traffic, so they're not going to have a huge gap on us here, and this could play a big, decision here towards the end of the Grand Prix and who wins or not. So we're going to put on the mediums. We'll exit the pit box here, and it's a good stop here, 2.2 seconds, about the usual. And you're going to see Hamilton right here coming at us. Gasly's out in front right now. Hamilton, Piastri exit in front. Russell's behind, and he's currently passing Nick De Vries in the Alfa Romeo Haas. So I would unfortunately get stuck behind Piastri, who's going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap, and look how slow he is. And of course I got Russell on those fresh soft tires right behind me. Hamilton's driving away. He's loving what he sees behind him in his rear view mirrors, as I'm now going to get an opportunity to overtake Piastri here, the Australian, down into the right-hander. A very easy overtake there. Of course, he has no pace at all. He's just trying to limp it around into the pits, and he would pit at the end of the lap. Still having a nice points run, Piastri is here now, but unfortunately Russell was hot on my tail, and a little bit wide of an exit out of the final turn coming to lap 18 opens the door wide open for Russell to sweep past here. An expected overtake with him being on the softs, but fortunately, those softs, they only have a little bit of life in them before they start to wear, and I would actually, with help from the DRS as well, be able to maintain with George and stay within that 1 second threshold, but as well, George at this point in time was quicker than Lewis Hamilton, so he was pulling me along closer and closer to Lewis as the laps go on. Look at the gap, was cut by nearly a full second by lap 21, just 2 seconds to Hamilton as I continue to stick with George. Now both of these guys are going to be pitting here momentarily. Yellow flag in sector 1, Stroll with a mechanical failure, not going to bring out a safety car, so 2 DNFs here on the day at this point. Sainz and now Lance Stroll at the end of lap 22. Here comes Hamilton in for his second and final pit stop, and you can see the softs, they're falling off. We're putting the pressure now on George Russell. You saw him slipping and sliding a little bit there in the final hairpin, and here we go to the right side of the circuit, and we're going to go for that overtake and retake the lead here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. But the question is, can Hamilton, which of course we've seen him do a two-stop strategy here before in the Hungarian Grand Prix multiple times, and it's had a history of working. Will it work today? We are committed to staying on this one-stop strategy. I could try and pit and cover him up, but it wouldn't make sense anymore. Russell's going to fight back here up the elevation. I'm going to let him have it. I said, you know what? He's pitting at the end of the lap. It's just a pointless fight, and sure enough, he comes into the pits. So we retake the lead again, and now we wait to see what the gap is going to be to Lewis Hamilton. Look at the leaderboard, P5, 15.6 seconds as we approach 10 laps to go, and there it is. He sets the fastest lap. The pressure is on as we're going to go through the grid here in the final 10 laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix.
An unfortunate deal for Aston Martin this weekend, but Owen is doing a great job leading that team towards victory here in Hungary.
He's quickly becoming a leader, and will have to step up when Fernando retires at the season's end. Gasly having an incredible run today, isn't he, Crofty?
He really is. As you see Hamilton getting past Lando Norris. What you got for us, Ted?
Yeah, guys, just wanted to note that Albon is reporting a mechanical issue that is slowing the car down. Also, pay attention to Hamilton here. He is gaining a lot of time on Owen with this two-stop strategy. This could be far from over, guys.
All right, thanks, Ted. As usual, Perez and the Aston Martin rookie in his debut running 14th and 15th currently.
It's hard to pass here in Hungary, always has been, always will be. It's hard to get an idea of what Hauger has on pace because of that.
That'll do it for Through the Grid.
All in control currently here in these final 10 laps, but watch the gap continue to close. Hamilton's down to 11.7 seconds, Russell back by 15. I'm not concerned about Russell but I am concerned about Hamilton with the pace that he is closing in on me at, and he would continue on through the field. Here he is making a move on Max Verstappen. We've seen Hamilton, like I said, make the two-stop strategy work before in Hungary. It might happen again today. Moments later, lap 28, a move up the inside of Gasly, who is having an unbelievable run here in the Alpine. It might not be a podium because Russell's coming in hot as well here, but Gasly's going to continue to fight here now like a lion as they come through the penultimate corner, but Hamilton just has the overall grip and just that advantage on pace, of course, being in the Mercedes. He will move through into second place. Russell, not far behind, would get past Verstappen and set his sights on Gasly shortly thereafter. 8 seconds now, the gap between myself and Hamilton. The gap is closing. There's not much I can do about it. I'm running just the smoothest, most consistent laps that I can without, going a little bit over the boundary and wrecking the car. But 5 to go. 5 seconds the gap. Hamilton is closing at a very quick rate, a lot quicker than I honestly expected him to close, and you can just see that gap continues to come down. I'm not making any mistakes, not putting a foot wrong, but that gap is coming down nonetheless. 4.3 seconds now at this point. It just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller in these closing moments. 3 to go. 2.6 seconds, of course, on the table now. So Hamilton, the pressure is on to myself, not on Hamilton. He, of course, is loving what he sees. 2 seconds flat here with about a lap and a half remaining in the Hungarian Grand Prix. We actually open up about a tenth of a second, and then it closes immediately as we go down into the chicane. But by the time we start the final lap, 1.1 seconds the gap here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. 1 win to our name in Formula 1. We have led the majority of this race. We, of course, dominated in Monaco when we picked up the victory after qualifying on pole, and here we are qualifying on pole for the 3rd time in our career. 3 poles, currently only 1 win. Of course, in China, we did not pick up the victory there, but here we are now at less than a second of a gap between myself and Hamilton. We have had the pace to, of course, control this race, but what I didn't anticipate was not having, of course, Alonso, my usual teammate, and then, of course, a flip-up in strategy here, and that has allowed Hamilton to take exactly what he wanted, and that was advantage. And here he and Mercedes come putting on the charge in these closing moments as we head down into this 3rd and final sector here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, as you can see, Hamilton within 0.4 of a second, just a few car lengths between us as we exit the sweeping right-hander. It's a very quick corner. Hamilton on the battery, and we're going to go side by side. He lunges it around the outside. We cover him off. That was the last overtaking opportunity he had right there. He went for it. He got to us. He ran us down. What a drive from Hamilton, but what a drive from ourselves to stay calm, cool, and collected. And for the 2nd time in our Formula 1 career, midway point of the season, we're going to come through to win the Hungarian Grand Prix for Aston Martin.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
I am so thankful that was the last lap. George Russell, driver of the day. Let's head to the podium here in Hungary.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they are very much at one with the car, which is a cliche, but it's true. It's not an easy process, and that work is very much paying off.
I was definitely concerned towards the end there when I saw how quickly Hamilton was closing in on us, because I was starting to push a little bit and the time wasn't there. I love this podium emote. This was, I think, I can't remember if it was in the podium pass or the item shop. I think it was the item shop, but I love that you can actually bring out your country flag onto the podium and wave it. Very cool. So getting to put that Canadian flag back at the top step of the podium for the 2nd time this season, 2nd time of our Formula 1 career as well, establishing ourselves now as, a legitimate threat here at the top of Formula 1, which is only going to solidify ourselves getting better opportunities as this career mode goes on. Unfortunately, of course, no Alonso in this episode. We should have him back, like I said, in the next one. Our teammate of Dennis Hauger there in his debut, 14th. And it's difficult to pass, and it was proven. Sergio Perez only, managed P13. Albon down to 10th. He actually had a mechanical issue that slowed him down. Here's the point. So Alonso loses the point lead. Russell back by 16. We close in. We're out by 41. So Hamilton back on top here. As you can see, the rest of the standings. In the constructors, we lose ground a little bit here. 33 points behind. That's going to wrap it up. We had to spawn the next one. Hopefully, myself and Fernando can bring the fight back to Mercedes there. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.